Hello, my name's Ronnie Green, and I'm at the Home Valley Academy in, where we're, Huddersfield, okay? And this is an honour for me, actually. I was very excited today because I knew I was going to meet this gentleman, and I'm with the famous Mr. Royce Gracie. A legend in many, many, many ways. Can I just say before I ask you any questions, when I first saw the tapes of your family and training, the thing what really sort of like entranced me was the way you became, you was a martial artist, the way you spoke. You're in a very tough system, a very tough sport, but you still had that humbleness. You understand what I mean? That's what I noticed.
Because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, the guys, they're professionals, they know what they're doing, they don't need to prove anything. I know what I'm doing. So I don't need to get in a fight in the streets and to prove myself. I know what I can do. The guys that don't know what they're doing, those are the guys that need to prove themselves. They need to pick fights and they need to bully people around.
But I mean, even watching the tape, this is how I managed to sort of like understand a concept, because that's me. I personally would like to be a nice person in a situation where it becomes physical, yeah? Then I feel you've got to be assertive, and I think that's what came across watching your tapes and watching and listening to you speak.
Yeah, we just know what we're doing. We just know what we're doing.
Well, one thing because I did judo, then I went to a striking system. And looking at a striking system, you always make body contact. My instructor always told me, I mean, we used to use the Ashibara, we used to do a lot of foot sweeps and things like that. We was told that if the opponent cannot keep his balance, he can't throw the technique successfully. You know, and I think this is where your system tends to work in this new modern era of martial arts.
I mean, it would be great if I can punch and knock people out, but if I'm fighting somebody bigger and stronger, and I can't knock him out, I might as well get in a clinch so I don't get knocked out. That's the main rule in a boxing. If I'm getting beat up, I'm going to get in a clinch and try to breathe and rest. And so it's not impossible to get in a clinch. The idea is not to get hit, get in a clinch, and then I'm going to take him down. I'm going to take the opponent down where I know more than he does.
Well, the system which everyone talks about is the MMA. Yep. This new sort of like system, but you was doing, I personally believe, you was doing that before it became popular, because you was taking on all comers, people who were able to kick and punch and strike. So you more or less, I would class you as the originator of what is now very, very popular. How do you see it?
MMA is not exactly a system. MMA is mixed martial art, but it's not a system. I'm going to learn MMA.
Right.
No, I'm a kickboxer. I'm a judo player.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to add punches on. It's a fight. I believe all the styles of martial art were built to fight, to self-defense, to defend. It's a self-defense style. It's a fighting styles. With time, like capoeira, for instance. At my father's time, capoeira used to be very mean, very aggressive. Today is considered to be more of a folkloric dance style. With time, they change. Judo, I believe judo was a self-defense style one day. It was a fighting, it was a creative fighting style. But with time, it became an Olympic sport and became so much of a tournament deal that they kind of forgot the fighting art inside judo. Karate, kickboxing, they all used to be a fighting art. It's a martial art. But today, with so much with the point system, people don't practice that anymore. They practice on, I'm going to touch you. It's a touch and stop. So I'm teaching you how to not hit somebody.
Well, I got involved with Muay Thai back in 1978. The Thai masters who came from Thailand trained, and they revolutionized this contact sport. I knew that when I started to get involved in it, a kick was a kick, a punch was a punch. The distance, whether you're getting grappling and elbow, knee, and everyone spoke about Thai boxing. And I was classed at that time as a negative. They said it was dirty, they said it was brutal and all the other stuff. But I knew one day it would be as popular.
It's a contact sport, yes. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is a self-defense style.
Yes. And you took it into sport. You took it into the format of the ring and the mat and things like that. I would say you were the pioneers. You were the ones who were saying that you would take on all comers.
My father is the one.
Right, yes. Well, that's why your family basically is a famous, recognized family in the sport of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Because we just instead take the word, my style is the best,
Yes.
my style is better than that style. Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's get in the ring, take the rules out, and we'll see what happens. So my family always willing to find out. What if the opponent's bigger? Well, let's find out. What if he's big? What if there's no gloves? Well, let's do it. So we're willing to do it when we're ready for that. We're way ahead of everybody because comparing style with the style, our style is more it's a self-defense. It's more complete than the other styles.
I think that's the thing which I noticed on looking at your tapes. It's about the self-defense. It's also about being in a real situation and being able to adapt in a situation to be more effective than the other person. When I started to do Thai boxing, it was very new to me because I did striking sports before, but Thai was completely different. In other words, Thai I saw was an open system. Looking at what you do, in a sense, and how you actually bring that person towards you and how you tie them up, you give them the opportunity to sort of like move, but then you start cutting them down. There's a strategy behind what you do. There's definitely a strategy. And how, you know what I mean? Because your system is a very popular system. So what makes your system, if you don't mind, the one that everyone speaks about?
Because you don't have to use strength.
Yes.
There's no speed. You gotta know what you're doing. It's based on leverage and technique. So if you know what you're doing, you know how to use the right leverage and the right technique, it's easy. A smaller guy can subdue a bigger opponent without having to hurt him. That's why everybody gets impressed about it.
Well, I think, that was what really impressed me, with Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. It gave me an understanding that self-defense and martial arts, the combination, as you were saying earlier, it's a real fight. When a real fight now comes into play, the techniques are the most important part, which is, I would class myself as a fighter, and I learned the movements, I learned the movements which is going to help me to win, and I see the same thing, in a sense, if I can say that, the same way you approach it as well. It seems to be, you stand up, you fight anyone who's in front of you, and you've been very successful. At this point, you're doing so many courses now. How are you finding the people, you're training within that lot?
Man, I travel all over the world. I spend about 6-7 months of the year on the road teaching seminars, and I don't believe there's a good student or bad student. There's good teachers and bad teachers.
Yes.
If you show up to class, you will learn.
As the new concept of the Thai side coming into it, and also the boxing side, the boxing people are coming into it. How have you, in your training, do you strike? Do you do the boxing? Do you do the kicking? Or do you stay fundamentally Gracie Jiu-Jitsu?
If I am teaching, I'm going to teach Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. That's what I teach.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
If I'm getting ready for a fight, no, I gotta know the stand-up part so I can see what's coming at me.
Yeah.
Not because I'm gonna knock people out.
No. I mean, to be honest, I would have to say it was on the same lines because I did the different ring sports. I did the full contact, the kickboxing, the Thai boxing, and the boxing, and it was more or less on the same lines. I looked at what was coming at me. That's the way I had to actually adapt. And sometimes in those, it's all about rules. You have to adapt to the rules. Generally, as you were saying, when it came down to a street fight, it became just part and parcel. You've got to be in a real situation. What I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to, because I know you've been very busy, and you've got a busy schedule ahead of you. But how long are you over here for?
I'm in England. This trip is a 12-day trip.
12 days trip.
All over, up and down England, Scotland, Ireland.
Well, I hope you see a bit of, England, because I know how busy you're going to be, and generally it's like you're normally going from one place to another. Well, I'm going to now sort of like tie it up now, but I'd say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you.
And you're a legend. Thanks very much.
Thank you.